How do rich people use credit cards? Very differently, as it turns out. Credit cards give a lot of convenience in day-to-day spending. However, they also come with the risks of luring unknowing consumers into debt. Today, you'll learn about the 5 ways the rich use credit cards differently so that you can enjoy its convenience without paying dearly for the cost. The first difference is the rich use their credit cards like cash. Meaning, they only use it to buy things that they know they can afford. This means they already have the budget for it. And many people may find this surprising. The rich are actually very disciplined. If they can't afford something, they know how to wait and save for it until they can pay for it in full. Just like how they would do something by cash. To the rich, credit cards are simply for physical convenience so that they no longer need to carry cash around and coins around. It's just for faster transactions. Unlike the poor and soon-to-be poor who use credit cards to make something more affordable and choose to pay for things in installment. This brings us to difference number 2. The rich always pay for their credit cards in full. The rich hate the idea of borrowing money. They hate the idea of wasting money in interest. That's why they never carry balances on their credit cards. So they may use the credit cards for everything. Everyday coffee, at a restaurant, or to get that new TV. But at the end of the month, all of it is paid in full. Meanwhile, the poor and soon-to-be poor only pay the minimum balance, or worse, they even forget to pay the credit card, incurring exorbitant interest charges and penalty fees. Did you know that if you just kept on paying the minimum balance, you would end up spending 50% more to repay the same debt? It's because credit cards charge you 2% up to 5% interest per month on the balance. And while those might seem like small numbers, they are actually exorbitant when allowed to build up. For example, let's say you spent 10,000 pesos on an item and you only paid the minimum, which in our example is just 500 pesos. Well, here's what would happen. Because you only paid 500 pesos, you are technically borrowing 9,500 pesos. And 3% of that is 285 pesos. So the next month, you owe the original 9,500 plus the 285 interest. So the total due, 9,785. Now let's say again, you just paid the minimum. What happens? Now the balance is 9,785 minus 500 pesos, which is now 9,285 pesos. And that gets charged the 3% interest, which is 278. So the following month, the total amount you owe goes down to 9,285 plus 278, which is 9,563. And again, the minimum payment is 500 and so on and so forth. And this begs the question, how many payments of just the minimum will it take you before you completely pay off the original 10,000 pesos expense? We computed for it and the answer is 30 months. 30 months. It's going to take 30 payments of 500 pesos and that's 15,000 pesos before you completely pay off the debt. How much was the debt in the first place? Diba 10,000 lang? But the payments netted to 15,000 pesos. You ended up paying 50% more over the long term. Take note, in this example, the interest we used was just 3%. Many credit cards charge an interest of 3.5% and beyond, plus finance charges. So it's possible that you end up paying more each month. The rich know all of this, that it's a waste to spend so much in interest and it's a waste of money to compute how much they still owe, when it's better to not owe anything at all. And that's why they always pay in full. Number 3, the rich never pay for their credit card annual fees. The annual fees of credit cards typically range from 1,000 up to 5,000 a year. But did you know that you could actually have these waived every year? The rich do it all the time. It's actually very simple. When they see that they were charged the annual fee, they pay for it and then send a letter, email, or do a call to tell them this. Hi, please waive the annual fees on my credit card. If this is not possible, please just cancel my credit card. And the banks will waive these fees 95% of the time, especially if you always pay your card in full. Why? Well, there's two big reasons. Number one, credit cards are an extremely competitive business. That's why the banks want you to use their cards instead of others, and they will happily waive the annual fees to keep you as a client. And number two, banks already earn from each transaction you make with a credit card. There are transaction fees that are charged to the merchant, and the credit card like Visa or MasterCard and the issuing bank will already get their cut from it. As consumers, we don't see these transaction fees anymore, but it's there. This is why the banks already earn even if you don't carry any balance on your card. This is why you can request to waive your fees and why they will also grant that request. Now, it's actually possible that banks will respond to the message above saying something like, "To maintain the rewards program of this credit card, we cannot grant your request to waive your annual fee." And to this, the rich respond, "Okay, please cancel my credit card. I have other credit cards available. Tell me the process." And then the bank will respond, "As a valued client, we have decided to waive your annual membership fee. The transaction has been reversed and will be reflected in a few days. Thank you for using this credit card." And again, they do that because the credit card industry is highly competitive. Now, as an additional note here, the rich normally have more than one credit card, and this gives them bargaining power and more options. It's easy for the rich to get credit cards because they know how to save and keep huge balances in their bank accounts. So it's easy to prove they can afford to use a credit card. Now, of course, you won't be able to give the threat of cancellation if you are carrying credit card debts. Because if the bank knows you need them more than they need you, they'll charge you with that extra annual membership fee. But if you pay your balance in full and it's clear you're in great financial state, they will waive your fees. This is what the rich know about credit cards and why they never pay annual fees. Number 4, the rich pay in advance if they want to go over their credit limit. When the rich take vacations overseas and they know they'll be spending and shopping a lot and they know they will go over their credit limit, they make advance payments for their spending. For example, their credit card only has a limit of 100,000, but they know they'll spend up to 250,000 during the vacation. They will make an advance payment to the credit card amounting to 150,000 pesos. Doing so will temporarily increase their credit limit to 250,000, which is their estimated spend. Knowing this technique again allows them to not have to chase after credit cards with higher limits that usually come with higher membership fees. Unlike the poor and soon to be poor who wrongly believe that they have to carry balances and use their credit card in order to get a higher credit limit. And the last difference how the rich use credit cards is, number 5, they treat the rewards as just rewards. Meaning, they don't treat credit card rewards as the goal. In 2011, there was a huge interest spike in travel hacking. And travel hacking is basically the gaming of credit card sign-up bonuses, rewards points to accumulate miles and earn free flights. But as attractive as this sounds, it's something that the rich just don't bother with. But the middle class and soon to be poor go crazy over it. They spend countless hours researching the best credit card deals, stay on the lookout for the best promotions, and unconsciously, they end up spending more money just to get more rewards points, just to get free flights. Meanwhile, the rich and soon to be rich are spending that time instead to learn about actual strategies and ways to grow their income and their money. And that's it for our episode on how the rich use credit cards. Let's do a quick recap. Number 1, the rich use their credit cards like cash, meaning they only spend what they can afford. Number 2, the rich always pay for their cards in full. They hate all debts and interest fees. Number 3, the rich never pay for the annual fees. Number 4, the rich pay in advance for higher credit limits and they know these hidden hacks of credit card use. And number 5, the rich treat rewards as just rewards. They focus on actual financial growth and not just hacks. Follow these 5 ways of how the rich use credit cards and you'll be sure to get the convenience of having a credit card without running the risk of being buried in debts. Hey there, J3 here. Did you enjoy this episode? If you did, well, there are 2 things you can do right now to continue your journey towards financial freedom and abundance. First, subscribe here in our Pinoy Money Academy channel so that you'll get updates on our new episodes so that I can send you free training videos on everything and anything about money. Second, if you want faster results towards financial freedom and abundance, you can subscribe to our 5 Pillars of Wealth online video series. This is a free series of 3 eye-opening, life-changing videos where you'll learn about the 5 most essential concepts needed for anyone to become wealthy. And if you don't know these 5 pillars of wealth, well, you're disadvantaged in your journey. You can view this training for free online just by going to the following URL. That's pinoymoneyacademy.com/5pw. The link is displayed here on the video. Again, the link is pinoymoneyacademy.com/5pw. I look forward to seeing you in our next episode. Until then, always remember that wealth is a choice, so choose to be wealthy.